Hello everybody. Hey, anybody that's an RVer will understand this shirt. I snuck back out into the dunes and I took the little Xinlehong Q901. They make a 902 and a 903 also. Do not have those two cars, but as best I understand, they are the same car with just different body configurations on them, so they should all perform the same way. If you have a body preference, it's Q901, Q902, Q903. The one I did today is going to be the Q901. Took this thing out into the sand dunes and bashed it around a little bit, and the primary focus was just to show that you don't have to spend, you know, $700–800 on a car to go out and have a good time. I think this is a really nice entry-level car, and you can get parts for it. I'll just let you see what you think about the performance of the car. Keeping in mind, this thing's only got a 1,000 milliamp hour battery. I got 8 minutes of runtime. It wasn't slowing down at all, but the temperature of the sand was like over 130 degrees. So, yeah, it's kind of time to get off the sand. This thing, to me, does a great job, and I had a lot of fun with this car. So anyway, take a look at what it does on the dunes, and I've got an overview at the end of it because I had a couple of people that were interested in this car before actually asked me a question about it. So I'm going to throw an overview at the end of the run video. If anybody's interested in the car, you want to see a little bit more about it, I got something in there, and I've got back in one of my older videos, I've got some runtime at the beach, I've got some runtime in the snow, and I did an unboxing on that car a long time ago. So anyway, let's go ahead and get over and get into the dunes and see what it looks like. I had to walk in about a half a mile from that tree line over there, my hand's even in the shot, so that I could run this. But what I wanted to show is that this is the Q901 Spirit, little four-wheel drive, 16th scale, I believe. And I just wanted to show, put a set of paddle tires on it to show that you can have fun in the sand or anywhere else with a little car like this. As soon as I get it turned on here. Now there's one rock out here and I'll probably hit it in a minute. I have not added any oil to the shocks on this car yet. It needs it though. Oh, I got really close, didn't I? I'd move the rock, but then I'll just drive in a different spot and hit it out there. A little too rough out there. And this truck does have a little brushless system on it. I've got another video that goes more into detail about the truck, but you know, and it's only got a 1,000 milliamp battery that comes with it. It gets amazing run times for the size of that battery and the performance level that you get out of it, I think. And it does have a couple of LED lights in the front bumper. Me and that rock are going to be friends before the battery runs down. Little oil in the shocks would be better. And I don't know if these will hold oil or not. They might hold grease. I don't know. I really don't. I need to find that out though. Oops, where'd we go? I'm wearing the GoPro because I didn't have the nerve to ask my photographer to come all the way back out here again after the 2 trips with the Typhon. Okay. I'm sure there's some sort of payback there. This thing gets really, really good run times considering how small the battery is. So I think we're going to call that a wrap. We got places to go and stuff to do. And with all the sand and the heat, I'm pretty sure that the car needs a rest. Was banging on it pretty hard up and down those hills in this hot weather. So get all this. Oh, the sand's hot. Get all this stuff decommissioned and turned off, and I got to walk back over there. Not only that, I got to walk halfway up that hill because the parking area was full. So I got about a 3/4 mile walk from here to get home or back to the RV. There were several people interested in this little truck, so I thought I would do a little overview since I've had an opportunity to run it. You saw it running in the dunes, did a really good job, I thought. And a couple of questions that were unanswered that still won't have an answer, but we can all think about it together, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, one thing I'll show you. Let me just do this real quick. I want to show you what the shocks look like on the inside. That's the question I was talking about, whether they can be oil filled or not. So rather than do a complete tear down of that, I'm just going to go ahead and show you one of the shocks. I went ahead and pulled it off the truck so we didn't have to labor through that in the video. So what you've got here, the end cap or the bottom cap does unscrew, but there's no seal in there. Down inside there is a screw. You pull that out and this will come out. You could maybe find a little rubber washer and or put an O-ring in there. and put this on, and it might seal. As it is right now, I'm sure it will not hold oil, but it does have a piston in it, so you could put grease in there, which I've seen several people do and had pretty decent results with it, or you could attempt to put an O-ring in here. There is a seal in the cap. I don't know how effective it is, but there is a seal in the cap. It does not have a diaphragm in it. It's just a seal. So whether this can be filled with oil or not, I don't know absolutely for sure. I'm sure you could put grease in it, but on the other side of it, this truck is good enough. I think you can probably find on Amazon or through Banggood or somewhere a set of shocks that would go right on here that are capable of being oil filled. So whether these work for you or not, you can try to make something work, or you can just purchase a set, and I think the truck's worth the investment. Here's one more thing that I'll cover real quick, and some of you have seen this before, some of you do this. I put a couple of rare earth magnets back here, so you have a place to set your pins rather than sit them on the ground. And you know, I mean, if a hurricane blow them off, but they're not going to just fall off on their own. And you got a nice handy place to hang on to them. So let me put this one shock back on here, and then we'll go over the truck. Alrighty, I've got that back on there. Now, all in all, I think this is a pretty good little truck. They've got a little ESC. It's a 35 amp ESC brushless motor. I want to say that's a 2835 or 2840. I don't really remember. There's not much room to go in there with anything else, so that's going to be about it unless you do some serious mods on here. But they've got this thing really tidy on the inside. It does use the 3-wire servo, and then there's a plug there for the LEDs in the front bumper. The center drive shaft is metal. The front, you've got steel, metal on the front, and metal on the rear. I don't know if the differential is and the ring and pinion, I don't know if those are metal or plastic. They are very quiet, very smooth. So I've not had any problems with this thing so far. But one of the things that I would say, now you saw this thing in the sand, it handles pretty good, takes off pretty straight, everything's pretty forward, but you see how long those things turn. So a little bit stiffer grease inside the differentials would equalize the power to the rear wheels a little bit more. Same thing on the front. And I'm not editing out the sound. That's just how quiet these things are. So relatively, this thing has been completely trouble-free. Not relatively, but completely trouble-free, with the exception in the sand. Apparently, I got sand inside this switch, and I can no longer turn it off. Now, I might be able to take that housing loose and get the sand out of it. I haven't attempted it yet, but you know, I generally don't leave it plugged in when I'm in transit anyway, so I can just plug it in when it's time to run the vehicle. Now, I ran this for somewhere in the proximity of 8 minutes, pretty much full throttle everywhere I went in the dunes, and this is all it's running for a battery. Although there's not a lot of extra room, the way the battery is held in is with this little retainer. You put the fork in the back, and then just a little cam lock that locks it into place. So in terms of putting a different battery in here, you could probably do it. There's a little more vertical room. I don't know that this would accommodate any more vertical room, but if you don't mind coming up with your own way to retain the battery, so it's a pretty flush mount, and it's at the top in the back and in the front. So that's all. There's no extra travel in it. I would say that if you wanted to put a larger battery, if you don't mind coming up with some other configuration to retain the battery, you could probably do it. And I don't know, I'm not speaking of a 3-cell. I was thinking maybe of something with a little higher capacity in the 2-cell range. But I had 8 minutes on this, and it wasn't showing any signs of slowing down. When I got back, I had 3.85 volts on each of the 2 cells. So I didn't even, I mean, that's basically a storage charge. So you got down to 3.2. So it was about halfway through the battery. So just based on that, normal running, not full throttle everywhere you go, you're going to get, I'm guessing, 15 to 18, maybe even 20 minutes of runtime on that one battery. So, and not to go off on a tangent, but if you are interested in a larger truck, this is another one. This one is an S920, and well, relative to the size of this one, see if I can tilt the camera up here without making too much shakiness. So you can see the size difference in these two little trucks. Throw the body up here for a better idea. But either one of those is a good one. I'm not going to do an overview on this truck. This truck has 2 motors. I believe it's got 2 390 motors. This is probably the quietest RC that I personally own. And I'm guessing because you've got the 2 motors, you know, what on each side of the gear, you get the pinion and then the spur, so you got a pinion on each side of the spur pushing in opposite directions, so you know there's not much deflection there. Everything rides along pretty good. This one also, it's got dual shocks in the back, single shocks in the front, but again, those are not oil filled. I tried to put some oil in them, it just runs right through. They do have the retainer caps on the bottom, so you might be able to do something with these, but replacement shocks that will hold oil are just a few dollars, in just my opinion. So anyway, I just wanted to really do an overview on this little truck right here. And for the money, I'm seeing this, I checked it out a few minutes ago, and it's less than $100 at Banggood. I think it was 98 US, and I didn't do a price comparison, look around anywhere else. So if this is something that you think you might be interested in, as an entry-level car, I just wanted to show in the sand dunes with these tires on it. And this one, you probably wouldn't even need to change the tires. I didn't need to change the tires on this one, but since I had these, and these are the correct tires for this vehicle, I just went ahead and stuck them on there for the sand. I was very happy with the performance of this. So you don't have to go spend $800 or $900 on a car, especially at if this is your entry point into RC. So that's all I had to say. This is my wrap up, and appreciate you guys. If you found any interest in any of this, maybe give me a thumbs up on the way out, or subscribe to the channel, share it with somebody. Appreciate you guys. Take care, and I'll catch you down the road.